Great. Thank you so much, Scott, for that great introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Alia Karim. I am the director of the STELLA Center of Excellence at the University of Basel. Calling currently from the United States right now, so it's a bit dark, but very happy to be here. And again, thanks to Scott and the rest of the team for having me. So the presentation that I have for you today is about our center, the STELLA Center of Excellence, as well as a brief overview of what Scott had already discussed with you guys on the Monday previous, which is the very exciting project that we're undertaking in partnership with UIO, which is the development of an open LMIS system that's embedded within DHIS2. So I'll talk a little bit about Stella, and then I'll talk a little bit about the project. And I also invite our team at UIO to jump in if they have any contributions to the presentation. So I'll go ahead and start. So STELLA stands for the Strengthening Translational Ecosystems for Life-Saving Local Access. And it is essentially an ecosystem of partners in health from all around the world that essentially want to improve health across LMICs through the use of health interventions that are especially embedded in technology and innovation. So the primary thrust of STELLA is that if it is not accessible and equitable, it is neither radical nor revolutionary. And this is kind of our foundational quote, if you will. Our primary mission is to develop a holistic ecosystem of partners for the promotion and implementation of innovation and entrepreneurship for strengthened health systems in LMICs. And we are very excited to partner with UIO to develop one of our founding projects, which will ultimately become the backbone of STELLA. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a sec. So these are some of our buzzwords: sustainability, ecosystems, equity, health system strengthening, supply chain, and of course, evidence-based, information-based technology and interventions. So e-health and M-health are a very strong component of what STELLA plans to do. So STELLA is this creative ecosystem of global partners in health, spanning industries, sectors, stakeholders, and fields of expertise. And it aims to address health systems challenges in low and middle income countries by leveraging a critical mass of competencies and applying innovative solutions while supporting local entrepreneurship and ownership. And this means that we have a host of partners from all around the world and across all different sectors, from pharmaceutical to foundations to academic institutions to health tech companies and a multitude of others. And we've only just kicked off last week, so we're really just getting started. STELLA is very unique. It's more than a network. It's a dynamic platform spanning sectors, stakeholders, and expertise. It's comprehensive because it comprises the full spectrum of stakeholders. So challenge owners, so those that come to STELLA with a particular health challenge, are a part of the entire process of challenge identification and solutions development, as well as solutions deployment. Very importantly, everything about STELLA revolves around local ownership. So we ensure that every intervention that we undertake, every project that we do it has an embedded foundation in the country and in the places where it's being implemented. And the individuals that are challenge owners are a part of the co-creative process at all steps. STELLA also operates within an agile framework because it allows different partners with different needs and motivations to participate and join forces. And it also is lean enough to allow them flexibility and function effectively, which means that, for example, if a ministry wants to join or if an academic institution wants to join STELLA, there is not a set bureaucratic process that is structured. It's not a call and response in the sense that an institution has to respond to a call and there's a very big proposal process. It's a very flexible and dynamic network, and all that individuals or entities have to do is just get in touch with STELLA to be a part of it. And in that line, it's very open and inclusive. We're always open to new ideas, partnerships, and collaborations. And most importantly, everything that STELLA does is based upon the extraction of real-world data and the application of evidence. So we have 4 initiating partners. They are the University of Basel at the Innovation Office, which is where STELLA is embedded. So we are a startup. So we're a startup incubator, and we promote entrepreneurship and learning. And we also foster strong private-public partnerships and linkages. We are also partnered, obviously, with the University of Oslo, and they have you guys, which is HISP, which is an incredible resource of a network of people. And UI also hosts DHIS2, which is incredibly important to the primary project of STELLA. We're also strongly involved with the Swiss Tropical and Public Health Institute, and they're one of the best health institutes in the world for the application of health systems and systems thinking. And they're best known for their work in epidemiology and disease modeling in LMICs. And then we also work strongly with Novartis Global Health and Corporate Responsibility, and they oversee the end-to-end execution of the company's global health priorities, and they are largely supporting us with the identification of particular systems challenges in supply chain. And these are some of the core capacities that the different groups have brought to the table, but I won't really need to go over that. We have a very strong global reach, not just because of our HISP network through the University of Oslo, but as well just through our own collaborations. And again, we've just gotten started, so things have really started taking off. So we're very excited to report that we hope to have a collaboration in nearly every single country by the end of next year. And then again, as I mentioned, there are a number of different partners that are a part of the STELLA ecosystem. So we have research partners, we have different enablers, and we consider enablers to be the HISP networks, our local NGOs and tech enablers, DHIS2 on its own, and different NGOs and hubs. We have industry, besides Novartis, we have the Commonwealth Pharmaceutical Association. We also have Novo Nordisk and Roche. And we have different philanthropic organizations as well as WHO and different governments that are involved. So as Scott mentioned, as everybody knows, the primary thrust and goal of STELLA is the access to medicine. So we maintain a strong focus on strengthening health systems and LMICs and improving access to medicines where they're needed most. And we want to do this based on an open source, real-time, and data-driven approach. And we primarily intend to do this with the development of the DHIS2 LMIS project, which we don't really have a name for just yet, but we're just LMIS within DHIS2. So the backbone of STELLA is the availability of real-time geospecific drug availability and epidemiological data. And we're currently developing alongside the University of Oslo an open source, continent compatible predictive logistics management information system integrated within DHIS2. So this will be the first open source system with the potential to fully enable robust access to medicines where they are needed most, and of course, when they are needed most. So yeah, and we primarily intend to do this, obviously, with the use of the EPI and case data and hopefully geospatial data that comes alongside within DHIS2, if that's possible. So the platform intends to provide enough data to enable predictive forecasting of drugs in alignment with local needs and disease profiles. And we are as well building upon metadata packages alongside WHO to provide global standards on targeted disease programs at local levels. And this is hopefully going to be used within the system for the targeted availability of specific drugs. And we're also engaged with partners to expand the network, particularly pharmaceutical companies, foundation institutions who are interested in participating in projects related to digitally enabled last mile availability and accessibility of commodities and LMICs. So this means that when we develop the LMIS platform within DHIS2, we hope to, once we have enabled this data-driven system, to ultimately bring it to fruition with the implementation of different kinds of health innovations, anything from blockchain technology to the Internet of Things. There's really, the sky is the limit once we develop the system. So now I just want to move on a little bit to the specificities of the LMIS system. So the proposed scope of the LMIS system within DHIS2, its functionality is health facility stock management, health facility stock replenishment, and performance management. And when I say health facility, it means the most granular levels. So if this means community level, so if we have community health workers that are collecting community level data, this can hopefully as well be integrated. So community level or health facility level stock management, stock replenishment, and performance management. And at the organization level, this includes as well the Ministry of Health, public health services, humanitarian organizations, and not-for-profit organizations. So we all know the common problem where we have NGOs and health organizations coming in and doing many different interventions. And because they are not using DHIS2, or because DHIS2 functionality or the level that the current health management information system is not necessarily using DHIS2 to its full capacity, it's not being maximized. There's a separate data system or a separate data chain that is currently being used. And as a result, there's a separate supply chain and information system that is being used. And so this helps to remove any of those parallel systems. That's the ultimate goal. So the guiding principles are, well, the ultimate objective is to improve the quality of health services, of course. We intend to maximize the utilization of resources and minimize waste. We obviously intend to advance professional logistics and supply chain management. And of course, DHIS2 is worldwide standardized and single end user of HMIS and LMIS, as you know. Seamless, paperless, real-time, and digital integration of HMIS and LMIS. And we're very interested to hear, and we'll talk about this at the end, but we're very interested to hear your opinions of the ability to go paperless, especially at the lower levels, at the health facility level and the community health worker level. We understand that this is going to be one of the primary challenges in migrating away from a paperless system. And we want to get some of your feedback on this. We intend this to be as simple and user-friendly as possible and as complex as necessary. So picking and choosing different parts that are the most important to the country's logistics information system, but in DHIS2 fashion, allowing it to be flexible. And then it's intended to be a complete solution covering all major user requirements. As well, the LMIS use is explicitly limited to end users, and it must be used in conjunction with one other upstream LMIS. And George, as well, if you would like to say something a little bit about this, you're most welcome. But this is as well what we had discussed earlier. It's not just one logistics management information system. There needs to be, beyond the LMIS system, there needs to be other upstream logistics management information systems to be able to be embedded as a part of it. So there is data that is intended to be collected at the source of generation at the health facility. So again, it's not necessarily a health facility. It can mean the most granular level. And DHIS2 is intended as the one-stop shop for all HMIS and LMIS needs. And that is ultimately the goal as part of this project. So some of the guiding principles for the performance management side. The ultimate objective is to improve services and not only the reporting. So this goes into data quality and data management. We hope to develop a standardized set of indicators across all programs and health facilities. This is going to be one of the biggest challenges because of the way that we package those different indicator sets. Indicators are measured for all stock items and not only tracer items. There is an intention for program-specific indicators only if and when needed, and this is only occasionally. And this is intended to be a step away from these program-specific packages of indicators and then the overlap that we get. We all know that we have these different indicator packages. We have data elements, we have indicators, we have the different indicator sets. And this intends to move away from that and towards standardizing and streamlining the different indicators that are collected by a country. Only a single indicator for measuring any manifestation indicator, and then five manifestation indicators or not more. And a manifestation indicator can be one of those determining symptom indicators. And when we have root cause indicators, these are the indicators that diagnose or identify the supply chain problem. We want clearly defined responsibilities and accountabilities and clearly defined corrective action for any deviations. And these are some of the guiding principles for stock management. Only essential health data is recorded and managed at health facilities. There is not the intention of the intention is to have no duplication of data, which is available in the upstream part of the logistic management information system. And wherever possible, data is managed in the upstream LMIS. And then most importantly, there is a basic mode for monthly recording of statistics or an expert mode, which allows different countries, depending on their operability of DHIS2, to decide which particular mode suits their particular context. So basic mode is you just have general monthly recording of statistics, and then this you can work your way up to the expert or advanced mode, which is paperless, barcoding of different products, and scanning for transactions. These are the guiding principles for the stock replenishment. And if possible, this would be managed in the upstream component of LMIS. There's the application of inventory control system to be as simple as possible. Simplicity is the key. This will also allow for streamlining within the embedded system, and then as well to make it more complex as time goes by, depending on a country's particular context and needs. The system maximizes stock availability and minimizes demand distortion. And finally, to identify optimal systems through academic research. This is a very important point. And what we've seen is that there is not nearly enough research that is available on supply chain management and logistics management. And we hope to, in addition to capitalizing on existing research, perhaps even be able to contribute to that body of research. And George McGuire on the call, as you all may know, is what we consider to be the guru of logistics management information systems, and he even wrote the book on it. So we will be relying very much on his expertise. So not just myself, but the team is very interested in your feedback. The primary challenges that you foresee in the development of functional LMIS system from your perspective, as well based on what I presented, any comments, any contributions and challenges that you would like to see the LMIS system overcome, besides obviously ensuring that there is no stockouts in your health facilities, but beyond that. So thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much, Aaliyah. That was a really wonderful presentation. And just to reiterate a couple of your points there from kind of the University of Oslo perspective, and I said this on the first day, supply chain is a relatively new thing for the University of Oslo. It's something that we have kind of found ourselves working in. And we have appreciated over the last couple of years that it's not a road that we can walk down together. We need to bring in strong partners like the University of Basel, the STELLA project, to help us sort this out. It's a massive, massive problem. You wouldn't be here unless you also agreed with that sentiment. It's going to take a collective effort to address it. The STELLA project is very unique in that it brings together so many different potential collaborating partners and expertise. It gives us the ability to have true supply chain experts within the DHIS2 community, working, collaborating, contributing to the community day in, day out. And I think that's the most exciting thing for me. It gives us the ability to continue to develop the technology, put in more solutions into DHIS2, build more apps, make more integrations with other systems, which is incredible. And hopefully you're going to start to see that utility, that advancement in your own DHIS2 deployments in the very near future. But like I said, even more importantly than that, it's bringing together this community of experts around supply chain to really respond in a coordinated way to the needs that are out there, the things, the issues, the problems that you have in your countries, your projects, and gives us the platform to adequately address those, which is honestly something that University of Oslo has struggled with in many fronts for years, is the resources, the ability to actually respond to all of the country needs. And I think that the STELLA project, collaboration with University of Basel, Swiss TPH, and with support from Novartis, actually gives us a good footing to be responsive to this, to the community need. I guess the last thing to point out is that when you work with the University of Oslo on supply chain, you are also going to be working with the STELLA project, the University of Basel, and the collaboration that it entails. This is not something that any single person at the University of Oslo is going to do alone. It's going to always revolve around this STELLA project. And again, we need that. We need kind of this tour de force to be able to actually get things done on this front. So just to make sure everyone kind of appreciates that. Of course, you can still email me, contact any one of us when things come up, but just to keep in mind that you're going to be immediately routed to a larger group, to a larger audience that has more expertise, more expanded abilities to be able to help you. With that, I think I will say, are there any questions for Aaliyah or even myself about this potential collaboration? As Aaliyah pointed out, it's brand new. I think I saw the contract actually fully signed just this morning. So all the T's have been crossed, I's have been dotted, and we're still sorting out exactly how we respond and some of the mechanics of it. But it is very exciting collaboration. Any questions? I don't see any questions coming through in the community practice, which either means that you understood everything or that you're not interested at all. I assume that you understood everything. Yeah, here's a couple of folks are typing. George is even typing. George, do you have a comment to say? You don't have to.
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to make sure that, Aaliyah, when you talk about medicines, we are talking about medical supplies in general, correct?
That's true. Yes, I'm glad that you clarified that, George.
It's mentioned some slides say medicines, others say products. Just to be clear, we're talking about covering the full range of medical supplies that are needed to provide health services. Thank you.
Yes, we're not just talking about drugs, even though that is the go-to word, drugs, and I should have said commodities. So we're looking at medical supplies. So commodities is what the word that I should have used.
Still some folks typing. Okay. So we have a question from Robert. Robert, thanks for being a very active community participant here. There's a few of you, Pascal, Safiq, Robert, you guys have all been chiming in a lot this last 7 days, so I appreciate your engagement. Robert was asking, thanks for a wonderful and exciting presentation. After delivery of the STELLA LMIS have been integrated into DHIS2, will other upstream LMIS still be needed? This may still leave gaps and impede access. Enterprise LMIS tend to be costly. And so I'd say the STELLA LMIS would be a greater impact if it could have a national scope like DHIS2.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, no, you go ahead.
I'm so sorry. No, I'm so sorry, Scott. Did I cut you off?
No, please. You go for it.
No, that's the ultimate intention. That once DHIS2 has developed the LMIS system, that it has the ultimate national scope. I mean, for upstream, I think that there is the intention to have the connection with at least one other system, but the ultimate intention is for it to be integrated and available nationally, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Maybe one small addition to that is that, we want all of the tools that you need to manage your health system to play nicely within the DHIS2 ecosystem. Meaning, it may not be a core application developed by the University of Oslo that you're using to manage your warehouses, right? That there are, like Medexus, like MSupply, there are really good tools out there for that. But those tools need to be seamlessly integrated into the DHIS2, app ecosystem so that they are exchanging data, producing analytics, and ultimately all coming down or all being and all being presented in one place, right? Using the same analytics tools, the same maps and pivot tables, same indicators. You're getting data from all these various sources. So that's really what we're talking about, is that all these various tools that you need to use should play nicely with each other. And even from an end user perspective, maybe be positioned so like when you log in to DHIS2, you also potentially log into Medexus, for example. and you can move seamlessly between the two. Maybe Medexus is positioned as an application. It looks like an application within DHIS2. But it has more specialized functionality for specifically the upstream supply chain requirements. I think that's what one of the kind of the part of the larger vision. That's a that's a bit of a long-term vision. That's going to take some time for us to work towards. There's a lot that we can do. There's a whole lot that we can support and between now and then. And that's what Leo, I think, was talking about, was having this like basic model and experts model. Basics model is like kind of what we presented around like the WHO data elements and routine monthly reporting. I mean, that's very simple. Most countries are already doing something that simple for their monthly facility service delivery data. And I think we've shown how we are able to use just that very simple basic data to build some pretty incredible indicators and analytics. So that's kind of tier one, but we can start to think about, and even some of you might be ready to do something much more advanced than that. And we presented, George presented a little bit on terms of his commodity registries. We've talked a little bit about tying the specific patient to commodities and update. So these are all kind of things that are coming. Some that are kind of already available, but I guess I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but just to reiterate that the goal is to have hopefully everything under one roof. Now, that doesn't mean that necessarily everything is developed by the University of Oslo, but that just means that the platform ecosystem is supporting all of these various tools. Okay, seems like that was, Robert says it was well clarified. I'm glad you understood, Robert. There's a couple of other folks typing as well, so we'll give you just a few minutes to answer. Maybe a little bit kind of about how we move forward with communication on this. So we are hiring, or we have already hired, 2 folks on the University of Oslo side, Bruno Horst, who is actually a participant. Maybe he's here today. I'm not sure if he's here. Bruno is coming from us from the Norwegian Red Cross. He's got a tremendous amount of experience in actual humanitarian logistics and getting commodities into the field where they need to be, where they're needed the most. And so a lot of technical expertise on the supply chain. He's also getting caught up very quickly on DHIS2, and he's going to be here at the University of Oslo to help kind of lead the charge day in, day out on supply chain. So Bruno will be someone that hopefully all of you become very acquainted with. And then of course we have George, who is going to hang with us. Somehow we've convinced him that we're not monsters and he wants to continue to contribute. So George will be with us. And of course, they're all going to be working in close collaboration with Aaliyah and her team at University of Oslo. So this time, oh yeah, Bruno is typing now. Maybe we can unmute Bruno. Martin, can we, just for Bruno to say hi?
Who do you want me to unmute, Scott?
Bruno, of course, if you could elevate him to co-host.
I can't find a Brenda in the call.
Breno, B-R-E-N-O.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe a little bit of my southern accent coming out there. All right, while we get Breno here, we have a couple more questions. Monica is saying, thanks for the presentation. Looking forward to expanding the DHIS2 capabilities to support LMS reporting. I believe it'll go a long way in improving logistics and service delivery. Scott, you talked about the use of predictors and the effect on servers. How will this be managed given the need to build several predictors to calculate supply chain income? Won't this cause strain on the servers in the countries? Yeah, Monica, that's a very good point. I did give a little bit of a warning about predictors and using them to build some of the indicators. They can cause strain. It depends on how many predictors you have running, how much data they are processing. All of the predictors that I presented are fairly simple, and kind of from like a technical processing perspective. They shouldn't be that heavy on your servers. But what I highly, highly, highly recommend is that before you launch predictors on your servers, that you test the predictors how on a sandbox or a testing instance of your actual production server. So spin off a testing server. You should probably already have one of these. This is kind of a standard best practice for any database. And then you want to test all of the predictors that you make on your training, your testing instance first. Make sure they're running, make sure the scheduler is working, everything seems to be calculating properly, the analytics are coming through on your dashboards, etc. And then once you're satisfied with the testing, then push them to your production. Now, I will again warn that if you are already having strained server infrastructure, meaning that sometimes you have downtime, sometimes your servers are not working, sometimes your servers are very slow. I do not recommend using predictors yet. You need to have solid server infrastructure before you put this in. But once you do have that, then you can test them in your sandbox or testing instance, and then you can launch them to your production if the testing is satisfied. So I think that's yeah, all I'll say on that. If any of you have questions about predictors, I know it can be a little bit more of a complex topic, and we really covered it very quickly here. Do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can email me directly. I don't mind, and please let us know if you're having any issues or problems, or you have any additional questions. I'm very happy to help answer specific questions that you have about using predictors in your country.
Thank you, Scott. I think we have Brenna on the line if you wanted to talk.
Yeah, Brenna, maybe just introduce yourself, if you don't mind.
Yeah, hi everyone. So Brenno here. I've been part of the Academy the past week and the 2 days this week, and it's been very, very exciting, interesting, and motivating. So I think my motivation could not be higher for starting in January. So it looks like there's a very high bar that's been set by Scott and everybody else working already on this. So I look forward to learning more about DHIS2 and then supporting all of you. I'm quite accessible, so feel free to already contact me at brenno@dhis2.org, and then I will be on board full-time from January and looking forward to really collaborating with all of you here. So thanks a lot, Scott, and yeah, back over to you.
Great, thanks so much, Brenno. I'm very relieved to have you on board. This has been kind of my pet project for the last couple of years, and it's finally going to have the attention that it deserves with you around. Okay, I think with that, if there's no more questions from the community, Martin, have you seen any questions come through in any of the other channels? Just taking a quick look.
Not that you haven't covered as far as I can tell. I can just double check again.
Okay. I don't think anyone is going to be upset if we take a little bit of an earlier break, but before I do that, Aaliyah, anything else to add from your end?
Not specifically. I just wanted to say that, well, of course, STELLA is open to collaboration across all ministries and countries. And within the scope of the DHIS2 LMIS project, and even outside of it, STELLA is a very flexible ecosystem of partners, and everybody is welcome to be a part of that. So in case anyone has any questions specifically about STELLA and how to be a part of it, or about the DHIS2 LMIS project within STELLA, please feel free to contact me, and I'm happy to discuss it. And I just wanted to say to Scott and the team, this again, I'll echo Brenno's statements. It's very exciting to be a part of this. And Scott, you've also done a remarkable job in keeping this whole ship afloat over the last couple of years. And so very excited to help take it off with alongside the rest of the team.
Great, no, thank you for that. I feel like I'm just trying to keep the holes plugged as best I can for the most part, but I appreciate it.
You've done a great job.
Um,